Hey folks, JD here, and today I want to give you a short video just on my final thoughts of the ZLRC beast. So what do I think? Well, in order to help me in explaining this, I want to give you some video footage overlaid so that I can show you exactly what I mean. So let's begin with the camera. I thought the camera was okay. For a quadcopter of its particular price range, I thought it was okay. Nothing special. Now, I'd prefer it if the video output was in 4K. I'd prefer it if the video output was a little bit better. I'd prefer it if, when I was looking at my FPV screen, if the footage wasn't as laggy as it actually is. Now, that being said, the video quality and the photo quality aren't terrible at all. Your photos can be up to 4K, and your video can be up to 1080p. Up to 1080p. Now, again, it's not terrible. It's quite good. You get quite nice, clean video. It's not very noisy, but I do find that it's not the best, nowhere near it. In its price range, I think it's pretty good. It's up there with some of the better ones, but it still isn't brilliant. I found the fact that when I was moving the gimbal, it was a little bit too sticky. Didn't glide very nice as much as I would expect it to, so I would prefer that to actually be improved. But still, for its price range, I'm going to still reiterate the same thing I said a couple of seconds ago. It isn't the worst. Now, as for its flight, I was very impressed. In fact, this reminded me a lot of an MJX Bugs quadcopter when it flew. It had a lot of power when you needed it. It didn't have too much that felt as if it was too unstable or too quick or or you could lose control of it quickly. That being said, that's probably the biggest positive I can give to this quad, is that it reminded me of an MJX Bugs quadcopter. Now, you have two speed modes with this quad, slow and a little bit faster. Both of them, there's not much of a difference between the two. You would notice the angle of attack alters slightly in speed mode 2, but that's pretty much it. Your speed may increase to an extra 1.5 miles an hour. I certainly couldn't discern much of a difference. The brushless motors work extremely well. They hold the quadcopter well in the air. They maneuver the quadcopter very well. It's very nice to see a quadcopter that looks like it's been thought about quite a bit, because as I was increasing my throttle and I increasing the power of the quad and turning it, giving it a bit of roll, giving it a bit of yaw, I noticed that the quadcopter wasn't trying to overbank or run away. It felt as if it was just really nicely balanced, the proper motors for the proper size and weight of the quadcopter. Now, as for landing and takeoff, no problem whatsoever. Whether you do it manually or do it via the one-key takeoff, not an issue. Same for recording videos and taking photos from the app or from the transmitter. Again, it just works. I had one issue in the flight test where I had I went to take a load of photos. Only 2 photos came out. All the rest of them didn't come out, and my FPV app froze, which meant I couldn't relay video. I couldn't see the battery statistics. I couldn't see. I could see the battery actually from here, but I couldn't see it, from looking at on the actual screen. I couldn't see if there was any difference in the satellites other than on the telemetry screen. So it left me not totally blind, but it left me, wanting a bit more information, so I could choose if where I was flying was safe and if I had to turn on and come back. As for the weight of it, it's over the 250 gram mark, so it's over 500 grams in total. So you are going to have to register it if registering quadcopters is in your area. Now for the features. Well, the features I found sort of be hit and miss. Some of them work, some of them didn't. Follow Me was the strangest thing I've ever seen, whereas it shot off in one direction, kept 2 to 3 meters between myself and the quad, but it wouldn't turn around to look at me. So the camera was looking away from where I was walking. I found that very strange, and since then I've flown this about another 4 or 5 times, and I have not been able to get that work properly. And I've also flown in multiple locations, so I'm not putting it down to the location or anything like that. I've also tried 2 different phones, one iOS, one Android, that I don't have any issues with any other quads, and I still get the same results. So either it's the app giving the quadcopter wrong coordinates, or it's the quadcopter not picking up correctly what the app is putting down. But at the same time, I find that very, very strange. My one biggest issue with this, though, is the fact that some of the working your way through the app, is very difficult. So it's not as intuitive as some of the others. Now, it could be because this app is quite new, I think. I've not seen it before, and I've had loads, hundreds, thousands of quadcopters over the years. This is certainly an app I've never run into. Now, as this app matures, maybe it'll get a little bit easier to use, but I certainly found choosing some features to be quite a pain. Then getting on from there to waypoints, I had one issue with waypoints, whereas the quadcopter decided it was going to plummet down about 3 or 4 meters while it was executing waypoints. I to this day don't understand why. It was up at its 20-meter max height. It had no reason to move, but it still did, and then I had to come out of waypoints, move it back into the field, and then fly it, just in an open area, not over any trees. Now, that when I flew it in the open area, wasn't that much of an issue. Flew without there being any problem, but still I find it so weird that the quadcopter moved down as far as it did while executing waypoints. So I got to give that a bit of a negative. So overall, what do I think? Well, it's a good stable flyer. If you want features, once again, like the SG-RC F11, you've got to leave it alone, because the features for me, and I can only talk about my experiences, the features for me certainly did not work. Not all of them. Some of them did, some of them didn't. Leave it, hit or miss rather. But for myself, I would choose it just simply because I use a quadcopter to fly with, and I have a quadcopter to use waypoints with. As for the camera, I have my own dedicated videography birds that I use. This would certainly not be one of them. That being said, it's nowhere near the worst quadcopter for the price. I think there are far better quads out there. I think this is pretty much, it doesn't leave me cold, but yet I'm not buzzing about it. I think it's pretty good. It's a much better flyer than it is a video quad or a feature quad. Alright then, my friends, let me know in the comments what you think. Have you flown this? What are your impressions? Thanks ever so much for watching and listening, my friends. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and ring that bell too. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.